West Virginia, the mountain state. Located in the heart of the Appalachian, it is known for its seemingly never-ending mountain range, lush green forest, beautiful scenery, and of course, its wildlife. But don't take it from me.
Tell you a little bit about West Virginia. If you've never been here, you got to go. We've got something for everyone. If you look at it on a map, you may think we're not that big, but I think we're probably one of the most significant states in the eastern United States because of how we're located. We have some species that this is their southernmost location for the range. So we have species here that you typically would only find in Canada. And we also have species here that this is the northernmost extent of the range, which species that you typically would find down south. So, you know, it's kind of a birder's paradise, or, you know, when you go out, because you don't know what you can find. If climate change continues, we are probably going to be the last green spot on the eastern United States, or at least the Appalachian region. We are the heart of the Appalachian region. But geographically, we are really diverse.
From our mountain rivers to our thick forested land and our Allegheny mountaintops, we are able to support a wide variety of wildlife.
So like we said, lots of different animals. So we've got, you know, the big ones are like that are probably the most iconic. We have black bears here. That's the state animal. White-tailed deer are massive here in West Virginia, as in they're very popular and very well-known species. So those are some of our two big ones. Then we have all sorts of wild animals like coyotes and foxes and bobcats, reptiles and amphibians, fish, you know, and then a whole plethora of different insects and beetles and all sorts of things. So the more biodiverse an ecosystem is, in general, the healthier it is, which makes it much easier for us to manage, and it's better for humans overall. So, for example, it kind of goes back to the whole elementary food web kind of thing that we've always learned. You know, when you start removing elements from the food web, certain animals will then start to become more scarce and eventually extinct or extirpated, locally extinct.
Many animals have gone extinct in West Virginia, including wolves, mountain lions, forest bison, and elk. Although elk were reintroduced in 2016.
So once you reintroduce elk, you're going to get increased grazing, so that helps bring in other successional plants after the elk go through. So you have different different plants that move in quicker than other plants, right? So your grasses will start sprouting quicker than a tree will grow, if that makes sense. And so the goal there is to not only introduce some animals back into the ecosystem that were originally here, but then I think it's also to help with some of that early successional habitat, to do some of that habitat work that our managers do, but have it done naturally, if that makes sense. That's an ecosystem service, something that nature, the ecosystem, provides for us for free, that we don't have to spend money on. And so again, the classic example of that is like pollination. That's the big one, because if you can imagine us trying to pollinate all of our flowers individually, you have to pay people to do that. That's really expensive. So this reintroducing the elk is not only bringing back a species that we've had here, but then also helps create more early successional habitat through their grazing and through their just creating of territories and paths through the woods.
While the elk had to be reintroduced, other species decided to fly back on their own, such as the peregrine falcons, whom have just returned to their historic nesting site at Harper's Ferry.
Most of the time when you see peregrine falcons, a lot of times they end up nesting on man-made structures. But here at Harper's Ferry, we have that historic nesting site, and I think that makes this area special, that it's part of our landscape and part of our story, and we're glad that they're back to be a part of it.
Before last year, it was mid-20th century, so 1950s was the last time, so it's been 70 plus years since they've successfully fledged in the park. They actually released some back in the early 2000s, some young that was part of a restoration project that we had in the park, and they brought some in thinking that they would continuously, come back and help use the natural environment that they have over on Maryland Heights across the river from West Virginia.
Yeah, so falcons are one of the top predators in the area and in the region. And so along with eagles and osprey, they serve to manage some of the prey populations such as fish and other types of birds, such as these. And so historically, sometimes there were issues with landowners and fowl. However, over time, through increased education and better technologies and protecting fowl, there have been reduced challenging interactions between humans and peregrines. And so I think they've kind of been a champion of humans being able to live symbiotically with the environment.
While we are happy to see the peregrine falcons return, they are not the only species West Virginia is looking to protect.
I think bats are becoming one of the coolest animals that used to be underappreciated. We have outreach programs that we do with youth groups and schools to encourage bat boxes to be developed. So if you see a funny looking large, they come in different sizes and shapes. Bats, they just need a place to hang out. So it's interesting how sometimes these designs will change, but we are working very closely with a lot of cities and urban areas to develop bat boxes, and that's really taken off, and you'll see them at state parks. We would encourage people to use bat boxes instead of spraying chemicals around the house. And so we're doing a lot of outreach effort as well. Another new program that we're getting involved with, we're encouraging individuals to create or develop milkweed, which is the favorite for the monarch. The monarch, which is becoming one of those candidate species. Everybody loves monarchs. West Virginia is going to be critical in any restoration efforts of monarchs. We've seen a huge decline. We're right in the middle of the pathway. We've got a lot of pollinators. We're still very forested. We still are in some cases, provides a lot of habitat. Got our hands in a lot of different things.
Though sadly, we don't have enough time to discuss them. If you would like to learn more about West Virginia wildlife conservation, you can go to wvdnr.gov.